It's like a mirror letting you know how are you doing right now. Some of you need to work on your study sheets. Okay, it's gonna bite you if you don't. There we go. So we're leasing, right? The total cost of the lease after tax. Assume that there's no mileage charge. So technically, in this case, the lease would just be the down payment plus total payment. Okay, that's all you got. Reminder, I think some of you need to, if it says to determine the total cost after tax, it means that you need to make sure your answer is taxed. That's basically what it's saying. So in this case, the down payment is $1,900 plus, I'm just gonna do this in brackets. My payment is $430 and I'm making how many payments in this case? It's a 24-month lease. So we go times 24. I need to add taxes because it says here $430 plus tax. Okay. If it said including tax, $430 including tax, then don't worry about it. So it's $1,900 plus whatever this is. I'm going to use my key for this. It speeds it up a bit. So your final answer should have been $13,458.40. Okay. Now, here's where you're going to lose a mark if I don't see you adding taxes to this. You're going to lose a mark. You're going to go -1 or something. Or if I see you taxing the $1,900, then it's also a -1. Okay, it's a -1 if you don't tax or if you tax the down payment there. If you have this, then obviously you get 2 out of 2 if you have this answer. If I see you having the 1158.40 somewhere, I would also give you a mark for that. Just having that number somewhere show up somewhere, you would not be getting 0, okay? Next, Rihanna drove 61,487 kilometers at the end of the lease. Calculate the mileage charge. The 50,000 is just an overall limit. You cannot go over 50,000. It's not per year, it's just 50,000. So I'm going to go 61,487 minus 50,000. You are, in this case, we are 11,487 kilometers over. I would say you get a mark for that. And here's the cost after tax. 11,487 times 16 cents. So when you multiply this and you add taxes, you pay $2,058.47. Okay, you get a mark for adding taxes. So let's say you made a mistake up here. Maybe you went 2 years times 50,000. So that's 100,000 is your allowance. Technically, you don't even have a mileage cost, right? Because you drove less than what the total is. If you add taxes, I give you a mark for that. Okay? So that's what you're supposed to get. 2 marks for B. C, Rihanna chooses to purchase the lease car at the end of the lease. Calculate the total cost of the purchase after tax. This is also known as the buyout. Go ahead and write this down if you... The province sometimes uses buyout. Sometimes they use, what is it, to purchase after tax. I know. There's a lot to know here. So what I will do is I'll figure out the residual value. It's 65% of what it was brand new. Right? MSRP is that, 65% is that. You figure that out. You get $20,621.90. I give you a mark if I see this somewhere on your paper. Additionally, if I see this, if I see you adding taxes to this, you get $23,096.53. That is your final answer. You get another mark for that. So 1 mark for 65% of MSRP, 1 mark for taxing. If you taxed at all, usually the province gives you 1 out of 2 if it's a 2-mark question. Determine the total cost of the lease, mileage, and purchase. So like basically A plus B plus C. These three all added up, right? Mileage, buying it, everything together. I'm just going to give you the answer here. This would be 38,613 and 40 cents. This is basically A plus B plus C. Okay, listen carefully. If I see you adding up A, B, C, and you got A, B, and C wrong, but if I see you adding them up and you get this, you get the mark no matter what. You get a mark, okay? That's how this goes, right? Because we understand that you know what needs to be done. So make sure you show us somehow what you've done, and then we can give you the mark. Dominic tells Rihanna, should have financed. Financing means you're buying it, you get a loan to pay it off. Why is it better to do that instead of leasing it? I don't know. Yeah, anyways. Financing would be better since you own the car at the end. Okay? You could also modify it. That would be another. You can modify it. You can actually, the payments stop at some point. If you said that, that is a good one too. What is the other one? Oh, there's no mileage restrictions, right? That's why you should finance it. You don't have to worry about the limit on the kilometers. Anything like that would go here. G, state and explain one advantage and one disadvantage of leasing. So one advantage, I would say lower payments as opposed to financing, right? So lower monthly payments. And disadvantage, mileage restriction. If you had to explain it, you could say there's a limit on the number of kilometers you can drive, okay? There's a limit on kilometers you can drive. That would be the explanation. So you get one for having a disadvantage and one for having an advantage. You can say in general it's going to be safer because if you keep leasing, it's going to be brand new. Yes. As in like how long you want it? As opposed to financing? You can, sure. If you explain it like that, yes. Make sure you explain it. You can just go for a year as opposed to a loan. It's usually 5 years, right? Okay. So we're going to add this up, okay? So make sure you add it. I'm not going to argue with you. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to make this out of 10 because I did cross out one of the questions and I do know I shortened one of them. So make sure you have a mark out of 10. Make sure your name is on there.